Welcome back and thank you guys for tuning in for today's video. As you guys seen on some of my previous videos, I just recently picked up the MPC Live Mark II and I've had it for quite some time that I've dove into it and tried a few features on the MPC Live 2 that has really stood out to me. I'm actually want to dedicate this video to this one topic that really stood out to me on the MPC Live Mark II, and I knew I was gonna try this out, but I didn't think it was gonna be this good. So today we're gonna be talking about utilizing the extra outputs that the MPC Live Mark II offers us. Now, having these 6 outputs on the MPC Live, plus owning an Apollo interface, this just revolutionized the way I work, and I'm gonna be working like this from now on when it comes down to exporting or stemming out my beats. Now, this video is a little more focused on people with the Apollo interface plus the MPC Live Mark II, but if you guys have an Apollo interface or just have the MPC 1, you can still utilize these tools, but it might just take you a little longer stemming out your tracks, on 2 tracks versus right here you have 6. So we're gonna nerd out real quick and dive into the ability or just the extra features that we're gonna get with these 6 outputs. As you guys see right behind me, I have a Apollo interface console application open, which the Apollo interfaces are so powerful. I'm not familiar with other interfaces. I don't know how they work. I don't know if they have something similar to this, but what the Apollo interface offer is unison preamps, which emulate real vintage preamps that are way over my budget. I most likely wouldn't purchase one of these, but having that in a plug-in version just opens up a new world of creativity when I'm recording my tracks. Now, giving these 6 outputs, I'm going into the Apollo interface in 6 inputs, and on my console application, as you guys can see, inputs 1 and 2 is my sample, my input 3 is my kick, input 4 is my snare, input 5 is my hi-hat, and input 6 is my bass. So what I have right here is kind of like a Neve console right in front of me with my MPC, which is ridiculous and crazy. Not only that, but as you're stemming out your beats, you gotta treat this like if it was an actual console right in front of you. So I'm adding touches, a little bit of EQ, and I'm just kind of hitting the preamps a little harder to give more of that color to the sound as they go into Ableton. So as you guys can see right here on the console application, it's like I mentioned, it's like if I have an actual console right in front of me, that's the way I'm treating it. So let me just go through the signal flow. So I'm coming out of the MPC 1 and 2 is my sample, going into the Apollo interface 1 and 2, adding a bit of coloration and a little bit of EQ. Now coming out of the unison preamps, going into my Ableton session. Now what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna stem out this beat. We're gonna record this beat. I'm actually gonna do it with you guys. I'm gonna start off with my drums, and on my drums, the way I'm doing it is I'm gonna go to menu and I'm gonna go to pad mixer. And on pad mixer, I have these individual hits that I'm gonna assign each pad to a physical output on the back of the MPC. So what I'm gonna do, I'll start off with my kick, which is right here. Yes, this one right here. And as I select that kick, I'm gonna go right here where it says on the output, it just says that it's coming out of the program, which I don't want it to go out of the program anymore. I'm gonna actually assign it to an output, which in my case, you guys can use any of these outputs as you guys want, but in my case, I wanna leave 1 and 2 for my sample because it's in stereo, but I'm gonna start off on output 3 on the back of the MPC is gonna be my kick. So coming out of outputs 3, I'm going into the Apollo interface, and let's now grab the snare, which is right here. And on the snare, I'm actually gonna double click and I'm gonna put that on outputs 4. And let's do that to our hi-hat. Hi-hat, I'm gonna put that on outputs 5. And now we're gonna go for our bass, and we're gonna put our bass on channel 6. And right here on the bass, since I'm not, the drums, I'm using each individual pad. The bass is just the whole entire program. I don't have to go to pad mixer. I could just go to mixer. And right here, we're gonna go right here where it says bass. We're gonna assign that into output 6. Boom. So now the bass program is coming out of output 6 going into the console application right here. My sample is gonna come out to outputs 1 and 2. All right, so now that we've routed the outputs from the MPC into the Apollo interface, if I hit play, all these channels should be separate right here on the console. Guys, a quick apology before we go any further. I just noticed as I'm editing this video, the audio from the sample channel, there's a minor delay, so it's kind of doubling a technical issue that I had as I was recording this video. I highly apologize for that delay you guys are gonna hear with the sample. The kick, snare, and everything else is gonna be okay. It's just a sample. But the main thing I want you guys to grasp on this video is just utilizing these tools. Let's stay tuned and we'll continue this video. So what I can do is I can actually just solo the sample, and I'm gonna start with the sample. Once I have a decent sound, if you guys want to, you guys can go ahead and add a little bit of EQ, which I'll do. Very soft, nothing too drastic. I can clean up the low end. Once we have that, I'll move on to the kick, which I have my kick right here, and the same thing. I'm gonna just hit that preamp. I don't want it to distort, but I'm gonna hit it where I get some good color from it. Now I'll move over to the snare. The same thing, I'm gonna hit it with the preamp. Now with this snare, I will engage the EQ and I will hit it at about 3K. I'll add a little bit of low end. Ooh, ooh. So let's hear without the unison preamp. Just the raw snare coming out of the MPC. So just add a little bit of more thickness to that snare. That small little difference that you might hear it or you might not even notice it. You're like, but I don't even hear no difference. But those small minor differences that are not noticeable are the ones that are gonna make a huge difference once you mix and master your beat. If we do the heavy lifting as we're recording, whether it's hip hop music or just any live bands, when you're in the mix, you're not gonna have to put 100 plugins in a session because you need to fix up something that was horribly recorded, if that makes any sense. We want to record into our DAW almost with our vision finished already, like if our beat was almost done already. So now that I go over here into my Ableton session, again, I created this template because this is how I've been doing all my beats. Input, the first track will be my samples, which is input 1 and 2. My kick is input 3. My snare is input 4. Hi-hat input 5. Bass input 6. Now, this might seem tedious, and I know this video is probably extending and it seems long, but I'm trying to explain these steps. But trust me, once you have this system set up, you don't have to take, it's been so fast. I've already exported multiple beats using this method, and it's just been so fast and so fun to work like this. I enjoy this much more than just hitting export on the MPC and that's it. This right here is using my personal sound that I want, that's my signature sound, to record and having a touch that I like to my beats. But before I start stemming out this beat, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go right here on my MPC and hit metronome. And on metronome, I'm gonna make sure I have this set up right here where it says count in, record. And once it starts playing through the beat, it's gonna turn off the metronome. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want that click to record in here, so I have a syncing marker that making sure I'm in sync with all my tracks. Oh, actually, one more thing I forgot to mention. This is actually really important. Make sure you set your beats per minute. This session of this beat, it's at 75 beats per minute. Go to my Ableton session and set that at 75 beats per minute. And yeah, I forgot to mention that, and that's very important. So let's do it again. Once I have that, all I got to do is I'll grab all these, I'll group them in one track, which is right here, and I'll make sure I cut into this click track. So I'll zoom in and make sure I'm right here, right on the click. Hit delete, and let's zoom back out. So it's pretty much about to sync up if I line it up one beat before, since it's right on the click. So now it should start exactly on the downbeat and everything should line up really good. Which, as we see, everything is lined up. This hi-hat I didn't quantize, so it's a little off, which it should be. And now that I zoom out, if I do a perfect loop, it should loop with no problem. So doing it this way, it's treating your production like if it was a live band and we are in an actual recording studio and we have a Neve console right here at our fingertips and we're doing that on our mix. This sounds amazing. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up right here, but as you guys can see there is a difference, and again, this difference could be in a good way or in a bad way. It's just gonna depend on how you're utilizing this console that you have if you own an Apollo. In my case, I think this is just opening up a new world of creativity, and I mean, the sky is the limit. You guys can do whatever you guys want, and it just makes this combo set so much, like, I don't know, it's just so much better from, you know, not doing this. So yeah, guys, let me know if you guys have any input, any suggestions. Let us know down in the comments. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching some of these videos. I appreciate you guys taking your time. I'll catch you guys on our next video. Peace.